Yorana, and welcome to FM Tahiti. Bit of a bonus episode. Bonus makes it sound really positive and amazing. It's kind of up to you whether this is a bonus to you in your day, but I just thought I'd record a little extra episode that I'll release roughly at the same time as the end of season review or just after it. I'm going to cull my team. I'm going to go through, look at all the positions across the board, work out my depth a little bit. I'm not using any particular guide. There are some really good guides about how to do this, but I'm not using them simply because I don't have time to do it currently today. I've got a little window of time to play before I go and do some other things, but I want to kind of get this done so I can move on to other stuff. And I think I'll make some mistakes whilst I'm doing it, but if you've got time, use some of the good guides that are out there. When I release this video, I'll also probably copy in a link to some of the guides that I've been reading about that are quite good. So I've changed my filters. So all of my senior squad and all of my under 23s are here, and I'm going to go break it down by position. And actually, I've already done this briefly. So I'll take you through the very first one. So we've got 4 goalkeepers. Across the 2 squads, we have 4. We've got Ahmed Smith, who's played a lot of football for us this season and last. He's not got the most amazing amount of clean sheets, but that's partly due to the defence, really. But he's probably our first choice just because we rely on him a lot. Tom Bothwell came through in one of the youth intakes as, you know, the diamond in the rough, or diamond in the golden generation. He's alright. He's got a few bad mental attributes like the eccentricity. I guess the eccentricity with rushing out as well can make him a bit of a liability. He's played a few games for us. He went away on loan at one point playing for Mahisha. He did okay in the championship, so he's got potential. Then we've got Adam Henderson, who is our next kind of diamond from the youth intake. He looks okay. He's rated really highly. Apparently he's better than Ahmed Smith. Compare with Ahmed there. Generally better or equal. I think the only one where Ahmed Smith's winning is the aerial for this particular kind of stat or attribute, I should say. So maybe I'm going to rotate these 2 next season. Scott Jones is alright. They still reckon he's currently operating at Premiership level. He's mainly just been playing for the under 23s. He did play a few games for us last season and this when he had to because of injuries and things like that. I've put him on the loan list to see if someone will take him, but otherwise I could lose him. I could lose him to be fine. I don't need to bring in any more keepers, but I could lose him. Let's look at the defence. Let's look at the left first. So on the left-hand side, we've got Phil Lamb, mainstay for us, pretty decent. Mark Burgess played a few games this season for us, about 7 appearances. Again, he's done okay. He's fairly determined. He's got a few of the mental stats, mental attributes that we need. So he's good enough. Stuart Server came through this youth intake. He's made a few appearances for us as well, just because of injuries to Phil Lamb right at the end. He looks like he could be good. He's highly rated as well, although just not as currently good as the rest. No other left backs. I'm going to try and keep all of them just because getting left backs is difficult. So I think I'm okay there. I don't need to do much in the way of changing things up. Looking on the right, this is where we've got a bit of fat trim. So McIntyre, really good. He's been playing really well for us since pretty much the very start, I think. Was he with us from the beginning? Yeah, pretty much. So 70 league appearances for us so far. I think he's runner-up for player of the season overall, like in the Premiership, last season as well. So he's our first choice. Then we've got Brett McCloy, who broke his leg. He's okay. He's played a few games for us. So normally when we've had players out because of the internationals, gone too far. I think his overall potential has gone down because of his injury, and we've got better backup across. So Michael Twigg, who came through this season, looks alright, but he's higher rated already in terms of his current ability and his potential ability. Darren Chant can play on the right if we're really needing to, as can Phil Lamb, so we've got cover. And then we've got Paul Morris as well, who's physically quite good in his attributes, so he could come on for cover in a desperate situation. So if McIntyre, Twigg and Chant can no longer take the right hand place, Morris can come in. So McCloy, fortunately, set his transfer status to... Oh, we can't put him on the transfer list because he's a youth one. Gonna see if we can terminate his contract. No, can't do that. Transfer available for loan. Transfer. I guess because he's a youth player, we can't really do that. But when the opportunity comes for him to leave, we'll force him out. We can't pay $5,000 to get rid of anyone. If we look in the centre, Chant and Bolt are probably our first choice pairing, even though Chant looks pretty bad attributes wise. He plays particularly well. Bolt plays particularly well too. Salaberry, who we signed all that time ago, he's okay, he's a big game player. He's not played as much this season because of injuries and rotating in other players and having Makasina. So I think we are going to... Don't add into the unwanted list because that sounds really harsh. What we will do is we'll move him to the under-23s. Transfer listed. Make him unhappy, but see if someone will come in and make him available for loan as well. Then across the rest of this, we've got Mohamed Makasina, who we brought in, who can play that DM position as well if we need to, so he's fine. Dives into tackles, doesn't run with the ball much, which is... I'm fine with that. I like those as traits. Neil Hersig, potentially highly rated, but isn't there yet. So again, I think he's going to have to go out on loan. Get rid of him if we can do, because we've got Matt Oram, who's fairly professional, who doesn't look great, but it's alright. Matt Clissold, who looks better, who's also fairly professional, and then Glenn Pallenthorpe, who's rated much more highly. And I think, if anything, Pallenthorpe's going to come in and replace Salaberry in the senior squad. Still make him available for the under-23s there. So I think in the centre as well we're fine. We've got enough pairings there. We've got enough depth, apart from when the internationals wipe everyone out. In terms of defensive midfield, we've got Makasino can play there. Weaver, who we've got currently in there. We've got Craig Stroud, who can potentially come in. He's not particularly good. He's not particularly highly rated. Could be all right. He could end up better than Weaver and Makasina potentially in that position, but he might be some way off. So I think whilst we've got him now, he's not going to get a look in. Can't even make him available for loan. He's that new, that young, I imagine. We'll probably get rid of him if we need to. Yeah, too much conversation. If we can bring in another defensive midfielder or central midfielder, we'll get rid of Craig Stroud. Looking at midfield, if you look at the left, so we've got Richards. He had his red card, which was irritating in that match, but he's good. He does the job. Then we've got Douglas, who's also quite good as backup, so we can trust those two. Paul Manuel is meant to be quite good. He's been on loan at the Shellfish. And he's played a few games, done alright. Nothing special in terms of performance, but he's showing he can do it. And he's meant to be better. So I think we'll have, when he returns to the team, we'll put him into the first team. Do it now, actually. And give him some opportunities. Ryan Smith, we did give some opportunities to before. He didn't particularly wow, although he's got that assist to his name. He had a few kind of good initial performances. He only had that one Premiership performance when he was coming in as cover. I could happily see him go. He's got a casual attitude. Manuel's better, Richards and Douglas are also better. In terms of these other options as well, I've got Daniel Wallace, who's low determination, but who could be good potentially if we get him mentored. So we'll see how that goes, but we'll keep him in the under-23s for the moment. And then Matt Cox, who's meant to be pretty high potential, according to the coaches, not on this rating here, but generally he's recommended as being one of the best in the future potentially. I don't really see it, but we'll give him another season in the under-23s. And again, because it's all left-sided players and they're generally harder to get good ones, I'm happy to use Ryan Smith, but I want to keep the rest for depth. On the right, we've got Seth Waite, who we know is pretty good. We've also got... Where is he? I know why. So we've also got, let's just extend this a bit, attacking midfielders right as well to get them in. So we've got Seth Waite, who's good. We have got Manuel, who's a leader, who also plays particularly well, even though he's not rated that well. His performances are good. Got Narendona, who can play on the left or the right, but we tend to play him in the centre of midfield if we need him. But he can do that job there if he's desperate to. Jack Tuchen's meant to be one of the best prospects we've got as well, and he's played a few matches for us and done okay. And I've been trying to fold him into the senior team. And then we've got a kind of mix, but we've got quite a lot on the right. So Nick Easthope down here, right and centre. He's doing well in training. He could be really good. We might keep him around just to see how he goes. Sam Jones, bounce personality, could be alright. Mental attributes are okay, crossing's good, but he's down the pecking order. So I could lose Sam Jones and not be too worried. Again, set him for loan. James Routledge is fairly professional, so we want to keep him. His stats are generally good. We want to see if we can get him involved in the team or how well he does in the under-23s. Tom Tobin, I could lose as well. Be too worried about. Can't send him off yet. Tom McCallum is a model citizen. He could be okay. Again, want to see how he progresses. And then Cameron Bell, who, again, some of my coaches think he could be particularly good in the future, but I don't think he's much better than we've already got, and I don't think he'll get a look in terms of the long-term potential. Can't set him for loan. So on the right, I think we've got depth. If we look at central midfield rather than central off midfield, we have quite a few to choose from. So Spearling is one of the key ones here. So he was our first pick. He's got 11 caps, 1 goal. So not bad for our first golden generation highlight. He has been playing more this season. He has played generally quite well. He's chipped in with a couple of goals and things like that. So he's getting better, and he's good competition for Narendona in that kind of attacking, well, box-to-box attacking-ish kind of role, getting in just outside the box, the pocket. Got Narendona as well, and we have Weaver, who doesn't appear because he's a defensive midfielder. Higgins, we've given opportunities to. It looks like he could be okay. We might keep him for the moment, but give him more under 23 game time to see how he develops. Sam Kennelly, I want to get rid of because he's just not done the job really for us. He's played a couple of times, but his overall potential is not as high as the rest. His current ability is not fantastic. And again, if I can get these players out on loan so they develop, that's fine. Jesse Thomas, we gave a few starts to. He's got some potential apparently. See how he does this season. This needs changing, so we've got him mentoring to see what happens. Chris Hersig is okay. We could lose him, and I wouldn't be too worried because he's not particularly good yet, although his potential overall might be amazing. Andrew Bwilt has been on loan to Madre de Dios. He's meant to be quite good. He's recommended quite highly. He's not put together a bad show. Championship, but we'll see if anyone else comes in for him, so I'll make sure he's on loan again. I want to see how he does with game time. Darren Lee came through in the same intake as Spearling. And he's rated still quite well, but he's been injured a lot. he's wanted apparently by Huahine and Mopiha and maybe Tetaroa. So they rate him, I guess, because his physical attributes are quite good. He's just not had the opportunity, and I think it's time to let him go. There's no point in me trying to hold on to him if I'm not going to play him. He's just not going to get a look in. So I need him off the wage bill, away from the rest of the team in terms of upsetting the balance. We already looked at Nick Easthope, see how he does. Robbie Neon Saba is okay, and I get those messages saying he could be one of the best on the team, but I think that's just because our team's so bad and he's got so much potential in comparison to the very first set of players that he's been rated overly so. But again, I could lose him and that'd be fine, so let's see if we can get him out on loan. Cameron Clark, fairly professional, we'll see how he does. And then David Kerr, who's spirited, is quite good. So again, I might put him in the first team, see if I can get him a few games, but obviously still keep him playing for the under-23s. Because our under-23s are also competitive, so if none of these players move and they just end up playing in under-23s, that is fine as well. So that's that, and let's look at all our attackers now. Our strikers. We've got Semi Gerard, who is amazing. Shoots from distance, shoots quite well. Yannick Janin, who shoots with power and runs with the ball quite often. So I've actually noticed him doing the shooting with power because he tends to smack it into the post quite often, but also score some really pacey shots. Chisholm has been a kind of rock. So he plays with back to the goal, which makes him quite a good target man when he's in that role, but he also runs with it if you want to put him into the pressing forward role. We've got 10 goals in 21 appearances for us this season. Not all of them were league goals though, so his league record doesn't look great. It looks like he's gradually getting worse, but every season, so he got 14 overall in the first season, then 9, then 10. So he's not as prolific as Gerard and Yannick have been, but he's good. He's loyal. I like that. He's been with us since the start. Wallace had some injuries and some tiredness issues because of the international duty. He can play pressing forward, he can play target man, so he fits in with what we need. And he got 7 goals in 15 overall for us this season. Last season he got 11, about 34, so he wasn't as good. But he's one of our kind of homegrown players. I want to see him get in his international cap. Then elsewhere, we've got Nathan Wilkinson, who is fickle, who did we give a start to at some point? So he played one senior game. He's doing okay in the under-23s, but I could happily get rid of him. Who wants him? No one wants him. And then we've got David O'Keefe, who's unambitious and not particularly highly rated. His physical attributes are generally good. So this is the one from the youth intake, if you watch that video, where I was umming and ahhing because he's not very tall and he's not very strong. But the rest of his attributes are good, and he likes to attempt overhead kicks, so I've kept him. But I want to see how he progresses this season. So how he does in the under-23s, and whether he'll do particularly well. Yeah. But I think we've got 4 strong first choice competitive kind of strikers. Gerard and Yannin are much more prolific than Chisholm and Wallace, but Chisholm and Wallace are no slouches either. There's a lot of interest in some of them, so Huahine want Chisholm, and they also want Gerard. Yannick's under the radar currently. In terms of kind of scouting and players that are potentially sort of available to us, I want to see if I can get this guy. So Emerick de Freitas. I tried to get him at the start of this season. Try and get him to start next season as well. Look at those attributes. So yeah, his physical attributes aren't amazing, but they're not horrifically terrible in comparison to a lot of our players. So 10, 11, 12 are all good. So around that isn't too bad. Rated at 95, I've been scouting him a lot, but still only at 86. But look at all of this. He would be perfect in that role that Weaver plays in, because he can do ball winning. He can do the box-to-box if we need him to. He can play back here as anchorman. He can do that, and he'd go straight into the first team. Weaver would have to come in as that kind of rotation, which is which is fine, which is good. He's just not particularly interested. So I'm going to wait and see what happens when the reputation rankings change, because Mopiad got relegated, so we could poach him. He's the one that we want to get if we can. He's young, it's only valued at £15, we can spare £15. His wage isn't too high, so we can spend on him, but he is the target. In fact, there's our top target and see how that goes. So that's the plan, get him in. If we can't get him in, then there are a few other options we potentially sort of look at in terms of beefing up midfield. So Thierry Jacquet or Jacquat from AS Chance looks good. Again, I don't know whether he'll want to come to us. Dubious, which is a bit better. The problem with getting him is he's more of an attacking midfielder. He's not going to slot into that Weaver role. Weaver's not going to get competition from him. Spearling and Narendona probably are instead. But he could be a good one to pick up because he's going to get better. He's going to be good. And yet everywhere else, there are a few options, a few players who might be particularly good. But really, it's this midfield position. Jordan Naren keeps coming up. So he used to play for us. And he keeps coming up as a recommendation for us to buy back. I don't want to go there. I don't want to revisit that well. Mainly going to focus on getting De Freitas, maybe Jacquet, or actually Scout must be in the team. Where is he? Jono Chadwick, because he's not as good as De Freitas, but he's played a lot for Moria. He's good. Scout him again. Last time I scouted him, he had absolutely no interest in joining us. Maybe now we've won some silverware, we can potentially get him in. And he's played for the Austral Islands, which is good. That fits in with the kind of team ethos. But there we go. We've got maybe 3 targets. If we don't make those targets, we don't get them in, we're just going to stick with the team we've got. We've got enough depth in there. So thanks for watching a little bonus episode. I've rambled on, so rather than a nice quick one, it's been a bit longer, but well, load up at the same time. It's not big episode, and hopefully when I see you next, it will be for the start of the 4th season, our 3rd season in the Premiership, 4th season in the game. Thanks very much for watching. I really appreciate everyone who does watch these videos. I don't want to do the whole like and subscribe thing too often, but please like and subscribe. It lets me know that the videos are being watched and people are interested. I don't think I need any certain, particular goals of likes or subscriptions or anything like that, because I'm just playing this game because I love playing the game. I really like doing the save. It's a good way of kind of memorising it and having it there for posterity, doing the YouTube and the kind of blog that goes along with it. So no matter what, I'll still keep putting these videos out, but if you're liking it, let me know you're liking it. If there's something else you want to see, let me know what you want to see. Thanks very much.